Yo, welcome to the first July episode of the musical show. Hopefully, we'll get a summer album. We're pretty much relying on fucking Post Malone at this point. Hooray! Yeah. I've caught up on a lot of albums I've missed and albums I want to re-listen to. So let's go with them. Starting off with McKinley Dixon's Beloved Paradise Jazz, which someone I know told me to listen to, and it got a light 9 from Fantano, so hey, it's gotta be good. And it was, but it didn't really feel particularly new. And as amazing as the production is, his voice did kind of grate me at the start, so that took a bit of getting used to throughout the album, but it grew on me gradually. And some ideas just felt a little bit pretentious, such as Hannah Freed's Tony being the opening track. It's just weird. And yeah, production's still great and all. Beats are solid enough, and it's still great, but and there was also a few duds, such as Live from the Kitchen Table, which I think was lyrically pretty shit. And the title track, Beloved Paradise Jazz, and also the closing track, was just insanely annoying. But yeah, nothing special, but still an impressive album, and a good listen. 7.6 out of 10, it is worth your time. Next up, we got Rob Grant with Lost at Sea, and just a quick question, when the fuck are you ever going to get a good, mostly instrumental album of piano ballads? Never, because most piano ballads sound the exact same, and this album is no different. Nothing I haven't really heard before, and even the Lana Del Rey features didn't really captivate me. Not worth your time, don't bother. 5.2 out of 10. And next up, we've got the 500 unit selling, or something around the lines of that, Boosie Badass's first day back with some of the worst singing I've ever heard, some of the worst production I've ever heard. Honestly, it ruined so many tracks of production that could have been bearable. The rapping sucked, and most of the features sucked, apart from that OG Dre guy, he was alright. Probably the only good performance on the whole fucking album. And every single second of this album showed why 500 sales of the album are still too fucking much. This doesn't even deserve to go triple floorboards is doing. Honestly, the worst album I've heard in my entire life. It's just a fucking 0. It's a 0.0. It's a 0. 0. Now on to the album re-reviews. I did catch up on a lot. Starting off with Homicide Gang, Snot or Not, and this is my second re-review of the album, because it keeps fucking thingying me. And it took a long time, but finally this album's clicked. I realised I tried too hard to want a Rage album, and this album wasn't really a Rage album, so therefore I need to stop thinking about that, and yeah, it worked. The beats were fantastic, such as the one on Flight's Book, which was incredible, and the actual Rage tracks, such as Uzi Work and ADHD, and Wants and Needs, sort of, I guess, banged, and yeah, lyrically it wasn't that bad, but there were some shitty bars in there, but you're gonna get that on a Homicide Gang album, and that's probably the only real massive flaw in it. Here's a few shitty lines. There's probably 2 there. I don't know why I bothered saying a few. Might not even be 2. There might just be 1. But yeah, the performances, however, and the delivery and of all of the rapping was great, and sort of overrid the flaws in the delivery and the rapping and stuff. Especially on Can. There were low points such as Homicide Language, which was mixed pretty poorly and could have been so much better if it was mixed better. And I think it should have been more ragey, because to me it just makes sense. And there are elements of the beat on Dive In and how it's produced that I just don't really like. But, it's a fun album, it's full of bangers, and it's full of bangers, and even if it does have huge flaws, you don't really care if it sounds good enough, as much as you do if it sounds like shit, and it doesn't sound like shit. It's a great album, 8.1 out of 10. Maybe I'm being a little bit too nice, but well, what's the point of being critical when there isn't a point? Stop being a miserable arsehole. Next up is Yeats Afterlife, and to be honest, I have no explanation about this whatsoever. It just sounds pretty good. Brilliant, unique beats, solid performances and delivery, and it was just fun as fuck. Obviously, Yeat isn't the best rapper, and you can't really understand a word that he says, but, his delivery of whatever gibberish he's spewing out was pretty fucking good. And yeah, some beats were a bit basic for him. And considering the 22 track runtime, it does have some forgettable tracks such as the opener and I can't even remember the name of the fucking opener. Where is it? No More Talk, that's it. Literally have to look back at notes where like I have the names of all the tracks. Tracks such as Myself and Watch though are two great memorable bangers with solid beats and solid performances. Nothing I'd change is great as well. Basically, the tracks that everyone says are good are good. And yeah, and I just quite like Heat sounds, so yeah. Fire album, 7.8 out of 10. Grown on me a lot. Next up is Group Therapy with I Was Mature for My Age, but I Was Still a Child, which should have really been put on the albums of miss category, but, you know, who cares? It's not a re-review, I've never listened to it before. And yeah, I can see the pop / trap / whatever Brockhampton-ish looking at fusions that this album was trying to go for, but it didn't really always work. And while, yeah, it did sometimes work, it was only really on occasion. And on occasion, it just didn't work at all, and it was garbage. And also, the woman singing sometimes just got, like, really annoying, because she sounds like every other indie artist that I've ever heard. An inconsistent album that's just kind of there, I guess. Has some low lows, but some pretty high highs. And, yeah. Funkfest is fantastic, but Smiles is god-awful, for example. 6.1 out of 10. No, I'm not going to edit it. Shut up. And I think the final album, re-review album I missed before we can finally get into the albums of this week was 7 minutes in, by the way. Destroy Lonely, Flux Could Kill. Tried to enjoy it, because I went back to Nostalist, which I used to hate, and I don't hate it anymore, but yeah, it's just awful. Boring production that barely does anything whatsoever, awful sounding guitars and terrible performances throughout, and yeah, it was garbage. There's a couple of alright tracks here and there, such as Safety Interlude and Wagwan, and Red Pill as well. But even the highs aren't the highest, if you know what I mean. Awful, boring album that shows Lone cannot do like a fucking Sleepy album. It just doesn't work with his sort of performances and shit. 2.3 out of 10. And then last we can move on to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums that I listened to this week. Starting off with Nino with Knee. It's rare you get albums like this that are bottom of the month, but hey, there've been some fucking stinkers this month. When you see the bottom 3 of the month, you'll get me. This has the laziest and most boring production I've pretty much ever heard, including pretty awful performances from both Nino and features throughout. Amongst this, the drill beats may honestly be the worst and most boring that have ever been made. It takes about 3/4, by the time the beat drops, the song's over, and the beat drop wasn't even that good. And yeah, it's just awful, it's cheap, it's lazy in every single way, it just sucks. 0.6 out of 10. Worst album since like last week or something, I don't know. Moving on to Rylo Rodriguez with Bim One, which, to nobody's surprise, this album was shit. Garbage clone of a garbage rapper, Lil Baby, whose feature here sucked and nearly ruined the song it was on, My Type. It was one of the few good songs on the album, but yeah. Obviously, it doesn't work. Tracks like Unfuckwittable and the aforementioned Real Type are solid, but like they're pretty much the only ones that are. The features, for the most part, are pretty much... The features are awful, just all of them pretty much, and we're also reminded of why Lil Yachty should stick to the rock stuff, because he can't really rap. He sounds bad. He sounds bad. He no good, very bad and that. And yeah, the beats are mostly awful, and as much as I admire the beat switch on End of the Road, the second beat was terrible. There was also maybe 4 or 5 good performances on the whole album, and unfortunately, Rylo went off beat on multiple occasions, including in the opener, Shame, pretty damn badly. It was a hard one to get through that track. To nobody's surprise, the album sucked. 1.7 out of 10. And now we're going to jump when it comes to ratings with this TV Girl Grapes Upon the Vine shit, which I think I forgot to mention yesterday, because... Actually, no, I didn't. Last week. And as much as I admire the weirdness of the album and the sort of change in sound to being a lot less like TikTok core and that, a lot of the songs just felt the exact same, such as the likes of, say, Hang On and the closer Heaven Over Our Heads. Amongst this, not every idea worked, and Shame was dog shit. Why is every song called Shame dog shit? What the fuck? Was the what? How have there been three? How has that? I can't speak. How has there been two fucking songs called Shame, and they've both been dog shit? What the fuck? And yeah, instrumentally it was cool, but yeah, as I said, too similar to one another and kind of boring lyrically. And kind of boring, and lyrically, it was like any other TV Girl album. Why can't I speak? Good album, but could have been so much more. 6 out of 10. Now on to do Toby Lou with Decent, which lives up to his name. It's nothing more than decent, though. Feature-wise, it was pretty damn incredible, and I like to give shout-outs to Chief Keef and Polo G, who both stood out and admittedly carried the songs they were on. Since when did Polo G actually have fucking talent, anyway? Saba was on Hit and Run, and I genuinely say Chief Keef, who was also with him, outshined him. Genuinely. The beats were bland in some areas, but there were some great transitions and sort of interlude samples, and the interlude samples on them were pretty good. And some beats were just fire. Overall, a very back-end heavy album. The start of the album kind of sucks, aside from that Polo G feature, but it ends up being pretty decent. Get it? Because that's what the album's called. 6.5 out of 10, moving on to Peso Pluma with Genesis. As much as the sound is cool and I like the vocals, some features sucked and so many songs sounded the exact same with that. About half of the songs have that fucking thing in like multiple different patterns, and like even though there are like multiple different patterns, they sound the fucking same and it's annoying. Tracks like Nueva Vita even. Spanish, innit? They don't pronounce their V's for some reason. Were fire, and there were a fair few highlights. There's just a large crop of duds as well, such as where's the note? Such as La People. That's a dud. 6.6 out of 10. That is what I gave it, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Moving on to The Pink Tape by Lil Uzi Vert, the biggest album of the week, obviously. It crashed Spotify. Did it really deserve to, though? No. Lyrically, it was pretty funny a lot of the time, such as that fucking Nicki Minaj lyric with the Republican bar thing. It's there. Also, here's another load of crappy lyrics somewhere dotted around the screen. But like the Travis Scott Gritty lyric, which was probably just on the screen, and that lyric about the first of all, laugh okay, bitches a day. How could you ever say that? It sucks. There are some bad fucking lyrics there. Obviously, you were never going to get a lyrical masterpiece, but sometimes it was awful to an unbearable level. Although these were few and far between, usually they were just pretty damn fun. The features were solid and all, but a lot of them sort of just had the song. It was more like them and a Lil Uzi Vert feature, such as Baby Metal and Bring Me the Horizon, which, to be fair, considering the different sounds, was to be expected, and the song still fucking bang. The chorus on Werewolf is fire, and the end is brilliant. I mean, the whole of Werewolf's brilliant as well. The great tracks, and yeah. Beat-wise, it was mostly pretty solid, from highs such as The End and Nakamura and X2, but there were some lows such as, say, Crush 'Em. The mixing was never that good, but on Werewolf when the opener flooded the face, I like the start of it, it was pretty fucking awful. Anyway, on to some more individual tracks. I'm going to start off with one of my favourites on the album, Mama I'm Sorry, which shows melodic trap at its best and sort of quintessential to the genre, if you know what I mean. Pluto on Mars also had an amazing beat that was incredibly Pierre Bourne-esque in the best way possible. I don't know, he might have produced it, I don't fucking know. As I said, the beat on X2 is phenomenal. Ken Carson just produced. I know he's got an album coming out next week, so I shouldn't really say that, but like, I've not enjoyed anything he said, but like, any of his fucking albums, but feature-wise, he's fucking good, and producer-wise, he's fucking good. However, from the basicness to the awful mixing, Flooded the Face was truly a god-awful opener, and CS is such a bad cover of Chop Suey that if System of a Down sued for defamation, I'd probably support them. One last thing I do want to say is that I do admire the experimentation of the album, as it never felt like Uzi was trying to make a boring Uzi album that sounds like every other Uzi album, if you know what I mean. Which is something I can fully get behind, because like you don't want to listen to an album and get the same shit you got last time, which I feel like you sometimes do get with Uzi. Overall, solid, fun album that is all over the place in a good way. Listen to it is a great experience and it's hella fun, but it also feels like a really weird acid trip. Also, I'm sorry if I've misgendered him, which I almost certainly did. And I just did just then. Fuck, if I misgendered them, soz. 7.4 out of 10. Moving on to The Alchemist, Flying High, which is a basic run-of-the-mill group of tracks by The Alchemist. The beats were solid, but nothing really special, and the closing track, Midnight Oil, was pretty fucking mid. Congratulations, J-Way, that you fucked up the song. I think you get it. Great and all, but nothing special whatsoever. And again, if this is a crop of 4 tracks that are nothing special, it just shows why The Alchemist is one of the best producers of all time. 7.6 out of 10. Moving on to the best album of the week, which is Currency and Harry Fraud's Vices, which, yet again, a phenomenal short album by Currency. The rapping performances were really solid. Kill me now! Really solid. In my defence, it's like 9:15, and I barely sleep this morning because I fucking Speak Now drop, and spoiler alert, you already fucking knew. The rapping performances were solid, mostly solid, not sorrid, what the fuck? The lyricism didn't provide any problems, really, and the beats were incredible. Feature-wise, it was for the most part solid. It had a great Benny the Butcher feature, but however, Vico on the closing track, Purple Picasso, really wasn't the best. A great album with a pretty unique and interesting sound, sort of merging like boom bap shit, trap shit, his own kind of shit. He just does what he wants in it, and I love it. Beats such as the one on Stingray as well were amazing, and as I said, fantastic Benny the Butcher feature, one of the best songs I've heard all year. Brilliant album, 8.8 out of 10. And at last, 16 minutes later, I've probably reviewed about 2,727 albums this week. Let's see how many I've done combined. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 albums. I don't do much in my spare time apart from listen to fucking music. I've not got a life. That's why I'm talking about music to you all. In fucking pyjamas at 9 in the morning. Like I'm not releasing this 12 hours later. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums this week. I've already listened to one, which you kind of already know. Listen, Speaking Now, Taylor's version. Let's just do it. It has a Fall Out Boy and a Hayley Williams feature, but like chances are it's everywhere. You already know, and you'll probably think this Taylor version. Your thoughts on this Taylor's version will probably depend on your thoughts of the other Taylor's version. If you hate it, if you hate the Taylor's versions and think they're worse than the OGs, you'll think the same. Because they pretty much are. Although Speak Now's their best album, so yeah. And if you think they're better than the OG, 1, you're insane, and 2, you'll think the same here. It's pretty much like any other Taylor's version by Taylor Swift. I can't speak today. Why have I forgotten how to like communicate properly? One night where I slept 2 hours and this is what I fucking get. 22 songs, 1 hour 44 minutes long. Yeah. If you hate the other Taylor's versions, it's not worth your time, but if you don't, then it is. Yeah. Next up, we got Conway the Machine, who's been fucking prolific this year, with Conway the Machine presents Drummake the Album, which is his record label, so it's like one of those record label albums, which features Goose, by the way, 7th to Genius about 578 times, SK the King, Lucky 7, Kendrick, not Lamar, unfortunately. It also features Lucky 7. It also features SK the King a second time. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of features on Home Numbers. Also features Benny the Butcher and 38 Special. 38 Special fucking everywhere in the underground boo-bap scene. Goose, by the way, and 7th to Genius have a song again. Also features J Skis on 3 tracks in a row. Also features him on a 4th and a 5th. Among this... Wait, why has it changed to 58 minutes? It was like 1 hour 11 this morning. Fuck that up. Wonder how many 7th to Genius features there are. There's probably about 7 or something. Features, Anyway, back to this. City Grill has 7th to Genius. Goose, by the way. Robbie Joint has J Skis and 7th to Genius. City Grill also has J Skis. Blue Glass is J Skis. Goose, by the way, and Shot Oh My. Take It Back is Goose, by the way, SK the King, Seventh the Genius, and Lucky 7. This Is War features Jay Skis, Goose, by the way, Kota Savia, Lucky 7 and SK the King. Crown for Queens features Seventh the Genius and Kota Savia. Andre 3000 features Call Me the Machine, D-Smoke, Seventh the Genius, and I really want you to know that it features Bangladesh. Can't wait to hear 140 million people over that shit. It feels like there are like 140 million people. It feels like there's 140 million features on this album. It's a fucking record label album. There always is. Also features the track Sudan, containing Shots All My, Goose, by the way, in Low Profile, Conway, Headlines, That, and Andre 3000. And also the last track, which also features El Camino and Sean 2 times, Far Away. 13 songs, 58 minutes long, and it's probably the same as every other record label album. 6. Next up, we've got motherfucking PJ Harvey. I didn't even know she was still going, but thank God she is, I guess. In I Inside the Old Year Dying. 12 songs, 39 minutes long. I hope she hasn't, like, fallen off or anything. It'll make me really sad. But she hasn't. It's going to be like a fucking 8. Moving on to Lucky with Sex, Money and Drugs, which is probably going to be like a 1. Featuring V's. 15 songs. It's only 32 minutes. I thought it was a bit longer. Thank God it's shorter than what I thought it was. I could barely bear 32 minutes of Lucky's shitty ass fucking voice. I was gonna listen to the V's album actually as one of like the final ones for June, so I can do like the lists and shit. But like, it sounds terrible, and it's probably not gonna be as terrible as some of the albums I've heard this month because there's been some terrible albums this month. So I just decided it wasn't really worth it. But like next time a V's drops, you'll probably see me listen. Moving on to Dominic Fike with Sunburn featuring Weezer. Weezer. 15 songs, 39 minutes long. Apparently Mama's Boy is meant to be a good song. I'll take the word and call it a 7 out of 10 album. That's my prediction. Just going to shout out this Reese LaFleur album, Diva, Volume 4, which features DJ Drama doing his little ad-libs, Vince Staples and Zaulan, Zeddy Hendrix, Kenny Hoopla, Rob Banks, Key and Omari Shakir, Ty Dolla $ign, Benny the Butcher, and Money Making Fella. 12 songs, 33 minutes long. I'm not going to I'll probably listen to the Vince Staples one, actually, but that's the only one I'm going to listen to, because I have a thing where I don't listen to shit unless it's in a series, unless I've listened to all of them, because, like, it's an excuse to get out of listening to an album, and, like, I don't really want to be listening to 10 albums every week, so, yeah. Next up is D-Block Europe with DB World, featuring Chip, Heady One, Nath Smalls, Young Ads, OGZ, Dirtbike LB, H, Clavis, K Trap, and M Hundro. 24 songs, 1 hour and 14 minutes long. If you value your life, don't listen to it. 1. Next up is Little Dragon, and finally is Little Dragon, with Slugs of Love featuring Jid and Damon Albarn. 11 songs, 41 minutes long, 7. Right, that's me done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 albums that I've already listened to all of them. That's not too bad, you know. Not a bad week. Not got much to listen to compared to a lot of weeks recently. But now I've got to do the top 3 and the bottom 3 of the month. Top 3 of the month. We've got at 3 Currency and that Nate guy. I've forgotten his name already. Vices, 8.8 out of 10. Number 2 is that King Gizzard album, Petro, Dragonic Apocalypse. I'm not going to say the full name of the album because I can't be arsed. 8.8 out of 10. I can't even remember the name of the fucking album, to be honest with you. And at number 1 is But Here We Are by the Foo Fighters, album of the year, 11 out of 10. Fuck you, I'll do what I want. Waste albums. At number 3, we've got Nino with Knee at a 0.6 out of 10. Number 2, we got Kim Petras with Feed the Beast, I think it's called, which was so bad that she might convert it to a mixtape so she can have a go at the debut album thing again. 0.5 out of 10, but at 0.0, Zilch is Boosie Badass's, I've already forgotten the name of the album, thank God for that. I probably shouldn't have thrown my phone yet. First day back. 0.0. But yeah, thanks for watching. That is me done. See ya. Same time next week on that. I probably shouldn't really brag about being a Liverpool fan, but I'm on the Reds. I know it's a bit big on me. Whatever. But one last review. I forgot to do this straight off the top of my head, so sorry if it sounds bad. Did you know that there's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard by Lana Del Rey? What an album. What a fucking beautiful, well-written, incredible production-wise, instrumentally. What a fucking amazing album. It's menacing, it's haunting instrumentally. They build up so amazingly towards that climax, towards the end of the fucking song. Especially in, like, the likes of the Grants and, Grandfather, Please Stand on the Shoulders of My Father while Deep Sea Fishing. What a name for a track, by the way. And, I love the style. It feels really... It's probably the most Lana Del Rey album there is, if you know what I mean. And it's just fantastic in every single way. The lyricism, especially on, like, A&W and, the first two tracks, the Grants and, the title track. Did you know there's Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? The fucking lyricism on them are so fucking good. And they're just phenomenal. They're just phenomenal songs in every single way. A&W is obviously a masterpiece in the way it sort of combines genres and how it is in every other way. Jack Antonoff fucking killed it. Lana killed it. Lyrically, she killed it. Everyone just killed it. It's an incredible track. And even the last three tracks on the album, Fishtails, Peppers, and Taco Truck and VB, which have been getting a fair bit of hate compared to the rest of the album, they're amazing. I love them. I love the sort of, like, experimentalness, the trapness. Like, Peppers is fucking fun as hell. Taco Truck and VB reminds me a hell of a lot of A&W in a good way. And Fishtail is just phenomenal. I don't get the hate. The only thing really wrong with it is the Judah Smith interlude still feels a bit... I don't really get it. I know it's making fun of him, but why were you there in the first place, Lana? And the lyrics on the odd song here and there, to me, just aren't the best. In their sort of weird indie sort of storytelling way, if you know what I mean. With, like, say, there's a Japanese type of something, it's called Kensuke, I can't remember the full lyric, but it's something along the lines, that will probably be on the screen down there. I just don't like lyricism like that, and there's the odd moment here and there of that. Pyrotexas has a phenomenal instrumental, by the way, I just want to make that clear as well, even if I don't fully like it lyrically, which... Yeah, I just wanted to shout out that badly because it's such a fucking good instrumental. But yeah, phenomenal album in every single way. Very few flaws. One of the best of the year. Easily. 9.7 out of 10. Still the best album in March. Ugly is nowhere near. Ugly is gone. Ugly is Dunzos. It feels like such a fucking guilt trip now. But yeah, I don't think that was too bad considering I didn't write down shit. But it would have been better if I wrote down stuff. It would have been shorter and, like, it would have made more sense. But, you know, here's what it is. Shouts out Never Broke Again. They dropped, their record label dropped Green Flag Activity Volume 2. It's, of course, owned by Youngboy. And it features Quando Rondo, Boy Youngin, Lil Dump on the first song. Slump is just an NBA Youngboy song. I Seen It is Lil Dump, OG3, and him. Live On is Roger MLP. Realize is Lil Dump, Roger MLP, and Big B. Cascade Talk Part 2 is Quando Rondo. I Need to Know is YB. See Me On is Who Gang D. Pre-Trust is Lil Dump and Who Gang D. Going Dumb is Roger MLP. Gotta Choose Lil Dump and Big P. And Big B even. Don't Lie to Me is Who Gang D. Rep or Step is Lil Dump. From HTX to LA is Lil Dump, Who Gang D, and Roger MLP. Big Sticks is him. In My Eyes is Roger MLP and Big B. Paranoid is Who Gang D. And Let's Get Active is Vontina. 18 songs, 48 minutes long. I'm not going to listen to it because, like, I don't really want to. And you know me when it comes to series at this point. I've already mentioned it once this episode, so I'm not going to mention it again. And it gives me an excuse not to listen to a Youngboy album. Of course I'm going to fucking take it. For real this time. See ya. Jeez. A lot is going on.